Out of Eat and Learn is special because you get to talk to people that you normally don't talk to on an everyday basis. Like you come to school, you talk to the same people, same teachers, go home, talk to the same people. You basically are in this little bubble of the same people. So Out of Eat and Learn takes you out of that bubble and lets you communicate with people like students in Singapore or like students in Los Angeles or students anywhere besides your little bubble, which is pretty cool because you don't get to do that every day.
It's like sometimes we're like in a bubble and we don't see outside of the bubble, and because we live a certain way or we're in a certain environment where we just can't see anything else. So everything on Out of Eden has always been like breaking boundaries, borders. It really focuses on the concept of being open-minded, seeing the world for what it is, and just letting go of what we think and letting the world tell us.
What I liked about talking to Singaporean students is that we all got to connect with each other. We all understood each other at the end of the video chat. Like once we started talking politically, it was when like, oh, you know LGBTQ? Oh yeah, I know LGBTQ. Like we didn't even think they knew what LGBTQ was. Like we were trying to explain it in different words so that they could understand. But then once we did that, they said, oh, are we talking about LGBTQ? Like, oh, you know that? We know that? Like, it was just like an aha moment, like a moment of realization that we had with them. And there was a lot of moments like those too.
Like even when this whole journey started, a lot of like my classmates and I, we formed impressions. We were like, oh, they're from like USA, so they'll be this way or something like that. And when we actually started, we realized that what we thought about them was like completely different. So it was like we actually got to see people as they were, and it like broke the impressions that we formed of them before. I definitely like the interactions because it's really cool to be able to learn together with someone else from like a completely different continent with completely different thoughts. You really get to like hear about things that you'll never see wherever you live.
I think that Out of Eat and Learn is a really good place to tell your story because people will relate to you and you'll know their story, and it will be warming to your heart because you know that you're not the only one out there that's facing any struggle that you're going through. You can't do that on regular social media because everyone judges you. There will always be a person that will try to bring you down.
My parents left me in Guatemala when I was 1 because they needed to come to the US and get a better job to be able to support me and our family. And once I turned 7, I traveled to the US, and that journey was like really hard. My favorite part about Out of Eat and Learn is just being able to tell my story and express how I feel with what I went through. It's just really nice to see how people actually care about like everyone else's stories.
It digs into your story, as in what, like on the surface you have this story, but what is underneath the surface? I think that's what Eden is trying to do. Like you are trying to exchange what is underneath those stories. I think everyone at this stage is having like some kind of identity crisis. Like who are you really? Like even though I am a full Chinese, but do I consider myself, like my own kind of identity crisis is, am I Southeast Asian or am I East Asian? Because racially I am East Asian, but nationality wise I am Southeast Asian, and I'm still struggling with that kind of identity every day. Yeah, so I think those stories about your cultural background affects who you are as a person really stuck to me.
I think it's really important to share our migration story because people will get to see a different perspective than the media, than what we get on TV, than what politicians say. So I hope people listen to my story and understand that it's really hard for children when they're making this journey to the US. I just want people to know that sometimes we don't have a choice, sometimes we just have to migrate. I just hope people realize that we should help these migrants and not cause more trauma to these children than they have already experienced.
When you think of a huge body of people coming to your country, you think, oh my gosh, like it's a whole swarm, like that's bad, like that's why freaking Donald Trump is building a wall to keep those people out, because that's what they see. They don't see individual stories of migrants. Every single person has their own story and they're coming for a reason, and you need to look at those reasons. I've learned to not judge people as a whole, look at them individually, because everyone has their own story.
It's important for us to not blindly trust what the media is trying to portray us, but rather to read all these kind of sources of information and judge it for ourselves. If media actually dehumanizes refugees, then automatically people would unintentionally dehumanize them. It's very important to have your own kind of opinion. If you're not going to have your own identity, you are going to follow people around, and you will lose yourself in the process. And that's why I think that this journey, it has helped me to like really understand who I am as a person and go in deeper.
It's just a continuous learning journey. Like, it's the first step into you becoming a better learner and becoming a better global citizen and learning more about everything around you.
You need to experience something new if you want to learn more. Leave your bubble and make new friends, or leave your bubble and communicate more. Leave your bubble and start a positive life. You can't just be clustered in a little bubble forever.